Coach Diaz, how you doing?
Doing well. How you doing?
Great, thank you. All right, guys, we've got time just for a few for Coach Diaz, similar to our setup from last year. We'll start with Matt Shodell from Kane Sport. Matt, if you had a question for Coach Diaz.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. So, obviously, we got the news yesterday, or the reported news, that Christian Williams is no longer with the team. I guess, can you just comment on that? Are there going to be any position changes to try and help out the cornerback spot? How do you deal with that? And then any particular reason, I guess, that you think he might have left? It was maybe an illness or just a depth chart issue?
I mean, sometimes it's just a fit, and Christian's a good young man, comes from a good family. But ultimately it comes down to competition on Green Tree practice field. And that's what everybody wants, right? That's what everybody says, if we want the way it used to be one time. And you got to be able to compete. You got to be able to be the best version of yourselves. And we've had nothing but competition. And one thing we pride ourselves as a secondary is playing the most competitive guys. And I like the guys we got. I like the guys we roll with. I love the way that Isaiah Dunson is competing. You know what I mean? I think he'll be in the mix more and more as the season goes on, just like Brian Balaam. I think those two guys, for young guys, really have a competitive spirit. But look, this thing totally transformed. Look at our pass defense numbers since 2016. We know what we're doing when it comes down to stopping the pass. And I love the guys we got. I love the guys we got back there. I think they feel the bond. It's important to have any type of secondary play. You got to know that everybody out there has got your back. Everybody out there is going to compete at a high level. And the only way they know that is by what happens on that practice field right outside that window. So, like I said, I wish Christian the best. I think he's got a good future ahead of him, but I think so do we.
Coach, we have Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, if you had a question.
Hey, Coach Diaz. I guess health-wise, just an update. I know you said everybody was in good shape with practice, but I'm wondering any late scratches in the week in terms of who might be available for Louisville.
No, I think we should be good. I think we should have the same group we had last week for UAB.
And then if I could, a quick follow, the pass rush. Obviously, you guys only got one sack last weekend, but a lot of that was them getting the ball out quickly. This week, Louisville obviously tries to throw the ball deep, more of an opportunity to get to the quarterback, right?
In theory, yeah, but when they throw the ball deep, they're going to do it with a lot more seven-man protection, so there's something to that as well. We got after that guy a little bit last year. And again, now, it's not about sacking the quarterback, it's about pressuring the quarterback. And you may have heard that, I don't even know how it happened or what had happened, but I don't know if UAB's quarterback is going to play for a while. So the defensive line, the defensive pressure is about affecting the quarterback. I'd say, 17 was affected. It's a big part of the game a year ago because, as you mentioned, they do take some shots down the field. They're going to, they've got a couple different protections and a couple different ways that they can try to handle our defensive ends. But it's not going to matter because we can't stop the run. Then they can throw the ball when they want to.
Coach, we're going to go to Chris Stock from Inside the U. Chris, if you had a question for Coach Diaz.
Yeah, Coach, going back to Christian Williams, 8 snaps last game as your fourth corner. Is there playing time to be had at that spot, or do you kind of just move forward with the 3 primary guys that you had, or do you see Marcus and Isaiah as potential guys to maybe fill more snaps there?
This has been true. If you think about it, again, since 2016, there's a line in terms of, you can't just put guys in the secondary that you're not sure that they're going to compete. So the line is the line. If there's 3 guys across that line, there's 4 guys across that line. Some years it's taken guys a couple halfway through the season to become that guy. That's just all part of it. But we're not just trying to play whoever just for the sake of playing whoever. I've got 3 really competitive guys in Ivy, Blades, and TC, Couch. Those guys bring it every day out there. And again, look, the only way to not get a ball caught on you is to not show up for the game. Okay, I'm not worried about that. We have techniques. We can coach that better on some of those plays. What I'm looking at is who runs the ball, who tackles, who sets edges on defense, and who do their teammates know that they can believe in to be highly competitive on every play. Once you raise your level to that standard, it's amazing how the playing time shows up after that. Until that point, we continue to develop it as coaches.
Coach, we've got 2 more for you. We're going to go to David Ferronese at the Sun Sentinel first. David, if you had a question for Coach Diaz.
Hey, Coach. Last year against Louisville, obviously former quarterback Jaron Williams had success in the passing game. How much can you take away from last time, and how much is different? I know you said on the radio, last year really means nothing when it comes to this year's matchup.
Well, watching them play defense in the opener, they've been saying all offseason that they were a lot better on defense, and all you have to do is just pop on the tape of their game last week, and you see it. First time in 5 years they've had the same defensive coordinator. They are much more confident in what they're doing. their linebackers are so active. I mean, they are so downhill and disruptive in the backfield, which creates a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They just played at a different speed last game than and it's not even about quality of competition. Again, everybody plays who they play. It's hard to win a game, remember. But watching them at any point last year, so I think they're a different team than they were a year ago. I think we're a different team than we were a year ago, and I would imagine we both argue that we're better versions of ourselves than we were that day back in 2019.
Coach, this is the last one for you. We have Susan Miller-Degnan from the Miami Herald. Susan, if you had a question for Coach Diaz.
Yeah, thanks, Cam. Coach, the Big Ten just announced that they'll be playing football beginning, I think, maybe October 24th. And they'll have a season, an abbreviated season, but they're playing with daily antigen testing for COVID, daily testing. Your reaction?
I'm sure that's great for the players and the coaches in the Big Ten Conference. Like I said, I mean, we've already set our ship at sea. I'm excited that we are. I'm excited about our leadership. But again, October 24th, this deal is week by week. We've all made plans, but again, we're trying to get our guys to do the right things so that we can earn the right to play a football game on Saturday, and we don't ever take our eyes off of that.
But do you think it's better, though, that for all of college football, you know what I mean, that now more teams will be playing more major teams?
It can't be worse.
Okay, thanks.
Coach, thanks very much for spending a few minutes with us today.